Hey, Captain Logos here, preacher at large, teaching the word and inspiring, 3 minutes at a time. Hey, still in Nehemiah today. Yesterday we talked about doing great things for God, that people are going to come against you. And in Nehemiah 4, sort of along the same lines, but a little bit different, the Jews are building the wall, right? And so the people that were coming against them stood around them and began to mock them. Ha! You think you can build this wall? Man, you guys are jokers. And they called them names, right? They told that they'd never be able to build these walls back. Are you even going to try to build these gates, even using the burnt stones? And they were just being all nasty to them. They mocked their workmanship, said it wasn't going to last, right? Right? The people were becoming a reproach. They were demoralized. They were fearful, right? Because of what was going on. So today in this new culture war that we find ourselves in, with everything against Christianity, we've had it pretty easy till now, but now it's getting real. We haven't had a lot of in-your-face stuff, but it's starting to happen, right? Just like it did way back to the Jews rebuilding the wall in Nehemiah several thousand years ago. You know what? And this week, Drew Brees was criticized for telling kids to bring their Bibles to school for Bring Your Bible to School Day, right? And all these news articles came out, and they were just slamming him for because it's part of Focus on the Family. And man, and another guy, football player, came to his aid and stood up for him. And then the people criticized him, and they're like, "What? Are you weak?" Now he's a pretty big boy. I wish whoever wrote that would go sit next to him in the gym and pump some iron with him. And I mean, just stupid stuff. But ironically, they were virtually saying the exact same things that were being said to the Jews in Nehemiah. They were told that they were weak, right? But here's what happened. What did they do? They prepared, right? They prepared. But the first thing it did, they said in verse 9, but we prayed to our God. They prayed. That was their first step when all this was happening. They prayed. You have to pray, man. Right? And then they prepared. Right? The Jews, they got people put in all the right spots. They got swords with their trowels, sword in one hand, trowel in the other hand. And the other thing they did was they stood together, right? As a people, as the people of God. And guess what happened? They didn't have to fight that day because God frustrated the plans of those that were coming against them. And if you're doing God's work, and if you don't operate in the flesh, but you operate in the Spirit, let me tell you what. God's going to frustrate the plans of those people that are coming against you. God is going to frustrate the plans of those that are mocking you, saying, you can't do this for the Lord, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. I'm here to tell you that you can, if you pray first, and you put your faith and your trust in the Lord. Now, those people were fearful, and Nehemiah had to pull them all aside and say, hey, look, God has brought us this far. He's going to see us through. He's done miracles to get us here. So, if you find yourself in that situation, just know that your first step is to pray. Your second step is to prepare, whatever that means, to whatever your situation is. You prepare. And then you stand and put your faith in God and go on with the work that God has called you to do. Go on with the work that God has called you to do. Now, go get your face in the Bible.